Like, whoa, this I'm already loving it. Oh, wow. Okay, there's so many aspects going on here. Kia ora and welcome. My name's Zoe Stevie and I'm your vocal coach for today because we're going to be taking a look at Alice with Nan. I'm so sorry, Albania. My Albanian's fairly horrific, sorry, I should say. No idea who this is, never heard the song before, very excited. Let's look at what they're up to. Don't know if this is a man or a woman, with their vocal technique, what's going on, how you can create these sounds, and I'm super excited. Eurovision is insane this year. What an incredible group of singers. I just want to say I've been really enjoying taking a look at what they're up to. Oh, before I get to this fantastic performance, do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button. It really does help me. I'm a full-time singing teacher, but I want to grow to help more people like yourself here on YouTube with their vocal technique. Mwah, thank you in advance. Interesting. She obviously got pulled in at the very last minute. I think it's a little bit shitty that the cameras went to her when she's holding her phone. Obviously, she didn't know the lyrics, but this the sound. This I'm already loving it because an orchestral version of a song just kills me. Obsessed. Oh, wow. Okay, there's so many aspects going on here. I'm going to do my best. It's obviously not usually my style of singing that I would generally teach, right? Around middle C there, loads of thyroid tilt. Around that middle C or C4 is around where the male voice register will need to do something in order to take the chest voice higher. I don't believe that he's quite in chest voice there. I think actually it's more of a oh god, I just have to say it's using different my brain is having a little bit of a moment because this would not usually be a key that I would sing in. I think it's one of the modes. Beautiful. Obviously, my female voice, when we're singing the same notes, we sing an octave above. So we've got this thin vocal fold, I think, yeah? And we've got bit of breath coming through there. Almost sounds like there's a bit of constriction going on as well, but wouldn't really matter. It just sounds like there's a lot of pain. I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm just trying to find the notes and the sounds in my own voice so I can think about how this is going on. At the end, you can knee, and we're sort of hearing an increase in the pressure, but all the breathiness goes away as well. And that's what happens when we add twang to the sound, or AES narrowing, which is RE epiglottic sphincter narrowing, which is essentially that the epiglottis, the area above the larynx, kind of like tightens a little bit, and that's what creates that knee sound. It's not nasal or anything like that. It's just that's how we kind of create that penetrating sound. Okay, this is sounding like a slightly more classically trained singer here, because we've got at the beginning like quite a breathy kind of sound, and then we're going to what is usually a typically tenor sound with lots of thyroid tilt, and actually the vocal folds start to thicken. Let's just go on that. Can you hear that vibrato? That's signaling to my ears. There's lots of thyroid tilt going on. Thyroid is the area here. Well, it's the cartilage here, the Adam's apple where the vocal folds live. And when that tips forward, that elongates the vocal folds. It's also the main difference between speaking and singing. When it's going so low in that, with that head voice, or basically the thinner vocal folds, that's kind of what's introducing a little bit of the breath, instead of allowing the vocal folds to thicken and have that vertical larynx position. And then when we go higher, we need that in order to like have that operatic setup ready, which is a little bit of the twang, thick, thin vocal folds. But really lots of thyroid tilt going on. Lots of thyroid tilt. I'm hearing this like sadness. You can see it on his face. I don't need to understand the lyrics, but that's why you can hear that cry and that pain. Notice though that the mouth is not going massively wide, because even though this is a slightly more classically leaning vocal sound that we're getting, singing in an operatic sound is not about ripping your mouth wide open. Actually, the resonance is happening here at the back of the throat. Da, 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 da. Has very little to do with the fact that the mouth is like, actually, if you over open the mouth, you're tending to push the larynx down, which will kind of like throw the whole thing out of kilter. And you can tell. The idea in the classical kind of singing world is we kind of have one setup for the sound, and then we drop in the consonants so that the sound has an overarching phrase. That's exactly what he's doing in that moment. He's going da, 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 singing through all of those consonants rather than chopping them up as well. You can see the mouth shape, it doesn't really change. And again, that's showing the practice of that sound. Let's go back on this, because when he's doing the second verse here, we can hear quite a decent amount of breath coming in. Now, what I would want to do with singers and training, and again, like Alice is not my singing student. He can do whatever he wants. He's also on the Eurovision stage, whatever. I would be working with a singer and making sure that they could also sing in a quieter sound without any breath and without any effects. Now, he probably can do it. This is probably a stylistic decision that he's being made. So I can't comment on his vocal ability because I'm just seeing this like little snapshot. But I want you to notice the fact there's quite a lot of kind of constriction coming in that second verse, and I don't know if that's a style. I don't quite understand the lyrics, but it's no, not quite. I don't understand them at all. But this is just what. Listen. That can often come in when we're trying to get the vocal fold closure, but we don't quite have it there. And what can often happen is that people try and push down with the false vocal folds to close the vocal folds. That could also be a way that we're bringing in that feeling of the pain and the anguish into the sound in those slightly quieter moments, and it's easier to do lower in the range. And then it's gone. He's gone back into that slightly more classical sound, added in some thickening of the vocal folds there. You can see he's leaning back to support the sound through those larger muscles of the back. You see, listen. He's slightly lifting up his chin a little bit. That can help us so that we're like, it can do a couple of different things. Firstly, we can be then anchoring more through the larger muscles of the back and helping with supporting through these front muscles. When we do lift up more, we activate more through the front abdominal, the front fascial line. That can help to arrest the too much forward movement of the larynx. Can you hear that in what he's that type of singing is just extreme pain, but this is what we need in order to really sing. Any of the singers that you watch, as soon as they're going higher in their chest voice registers, this is what you need. You need that level of and I'm not making fun, but that it's just you're just kind of like bringing the vocal folds in each time. This is a sound actually that is used in a lot of different traditional singing styles. And for example, in New Zealand with the kapa haka, this is, for example, the way that you would be like called on, or someone who's going to be starting the kapa haka and doing some of the calling for the call and response sections. And that's actually what I used to do in the kapa haka as well, and teach kapa haka. So this is what you're working on. Otherwise, you're not going to get the volume, but also it's not going to have that same effect in the sound. Can you see this? Raising of the cheekbones can and he's doing it through that whole set. That can sometimes help us in terms of like a device to raise the soft palate. Soft palate is like the doorway to the nose. When we raise the soft palate, we're actually using that for a lot of the resonance that's required for the slightly more classical style of singing. I'm saying classical style because there's a lot of thyroid tilt and quite a lot of vibrato in this sound. It could be used for a high tenor sound, but it could also be used used in a lot of different musical styles. Oh, beautiful. What a lovely performance. And at the end, I'm just not a fan of singers who turn away from the audience. Face your audience, yeah? Can you hear that? Going from that thicker vocal fold sound to that thinner. And then it allowed him to go, to stay in that thin vocal fold. So a lot of that breath, actually all of the breathiness was gone as soon as he went into the upper register. That had a lot to do with the fact that he thickened up the vocal folds, but also added on more thyroid tilt in there. That would really help in order to, we're adding more energy essentially into the sound. And so therefore it makes it easier for us to go higher and keep those vocal folds closed. I would really want to be working though on a singer. As I say, I'm sure you can do it. It sounds like a fantastic singer. You know, this is usually what you work on with your singing teacher, about making sure that you're balancing what you're doing in a performance situation, and keeping the voice in a healthy state so that you're able to do both things at once. But I would be looking for singers to make sure that that lower register is also staying really, really clean clean in terms of that there is no pressure going into the sound, even in that slightly quieter vocal fold quality. So this is just so fantastic. I absolutely love it. Wow, what a beautiful song. Whoa! I wish all of that for you. I want you to think of this song when I talk to you about thyroid tone. I want you to think about that kind of pain and anguish. Yeah, that's really, really what I want to see. So beautiful performance. Can't wait to see if it's qualified. I should probably look that up before I started recording, but anyway, whatever. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see you around here more often. And if you're looking for help with exactly this, if you're like, Zoe, I want to sing higher in my chest voice register, I want to be able to sing without that break, I feel like I sing lower in the range. Lots of my singers come to me and they're like, oh Zoe, I want to be able to sing lower in the range, but I feel like I can't get any power in that sound. Then that's something that really needs to be looked at on a one-to-one basis, as well as inside my Vocal Academy through our group training program. So you can apply using the link below. We'd love to discuss your vocal goals with you, because singing is a complicated coordination, and it really takes step-by-step building of the sound, and through working through these types of techniques like thyroid tilt, like better vocal fold closure, like finding your chest voice, like going up over the passaggio, what do we do with our breath pressure, what do we do with our bodies, that's the way that you slowly build up your vocal technique to be able to sing whatever the fuck you want, whenever you want it. And that's ultimately what a professional singer wants to be able to do. So you can apply it using the link in the description below. I'd love to see you around more often. Check out some of your vision up here. And just remember, you're amazing. Anyone can learn to sing. Just let me help you. Yeah, because you're not going to do it through random YouTube videos. Have an awesome rest of your day. Happy practicing. Ka kite anō.